Play us in, boys.
You hear that siren?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's really loud, bro. What'd you do, bro?
I'm running from the law.
Welcome to Guy Excellent Truman Gets Arrested edition. Okay.
I don't know,
Hey,
something's going
everyone.
on.
Hi.
Crazy wild.
Hi.
Okay, let's do it.
How's everybody doing?
We're killing it.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
So
Alright,
we're
what are we
doing a
doing, man? Why are we
podcast.
here?
We're doing. I have 3 things on the agenda. First thing, how are you? How you doing?
Good.
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 Great.
Great. Second thing on the agenda, I want us to just sit for a minute and brainstorm some ideas for stuff we're going to be doing going forward. We haven't been uploading a lot because we haven't been filming a lot. And also I have like 3 podcasts to edit. And I'm a lazy bitch. But nonetheless, we should just come up with ideas that will work with Truman being far away and with Aiden also kind of being far away most of the time, and that sort of thing. And then the second thing that I wanted to do is I wanted us to just talk about some cool stuff that I can edit into little videos for everybody to see and have fun with. So, great.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I got a doc already with documents with ideas that I want to talk about.
Damn.
So if y'all want to talk for a second while I pull that up, go for it.
All right, cool. I'll do a little explanation. I'm at college now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting an education. I'm learning. They're teaching me.
Very
They're
good.
teaching me all different things like how to not starve
That's
and how to
good.
eat
That's a good one.
expired food.
That's pretty smart.
It's pretty
That's
all
huge.
right. I know, isn't it crazy? And I'm paying them.
Yeah. You're paying them to starve, essentially, is what you do.
I like that.
Oh shit.
That's where it's at.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Where did
Uh-oh.
you go?
What happened?
You played.
I don't know. You're just gone, homie.
Who's gone? I'm gone? Well, it doesn't matter for me because I got camera, but yeah, I'll
Okay,
be
great.
back in a second. There, am I back? Can you see
Yeah,
me?
you're back. I can see you.
Okay, let me make sure my camera's still working.
Wait, you're recording with a separate camera?
Yeah, Max is.
Yes, Truman, that's why we talked about this for like 30 goddamn minutes.
Why? It's not gonna work,
I
man.
was anticipating that more. No, it will work because I can still line it up with the audio track that we have. It'll work fine.
Okay, great. I trust you.
Sweet.
All right, let's talk.
Okay,
Come on.
let's talk. I got notes for pod. I'm pulling up the pod notes right now. I got notes for pod. Okay, my first idea. I should have just remembered this. I feel like one thing we could do is just a weekly podcast, right? Or and honestly, I kind of wanted to do this, you record it or not, just to have a moment so we can all just talk every week or whatever, right? And so I figured there's no reason we can't turn that into podcast form. And so if we keep doing it this way and we give ourselves enough time, that will always also give us obviously at least one video to upload per week. We'll have a pod per week, but we'll also, if I choose to make editorials out of any little moments, we'll have extra videos out of that. And that's, that's easy enough to do and edit as long as we have like an hour each week.
Yeah.
Like that idea?
I'm good with
I like that
yeah.
idea. That's a good idea.
Do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts on how we would structure that or do whatever? Or like what days would be best? Obviously, we
Yeah.
don't know our schedules yet, but
I was talking to Max about it, and when I get my schedule and when I figure it out, I will let you guys know like when my off times will be. Cause I'm down. I'm totally down to set an hour aside for a day to
Mm-hmm.
just hang out and talk.
yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah. great.
Sweet.
I like the
But,
idea.
yeah,
and
I'll
we'll
know-
figure it out.
I'll know by the end of the month.
I like that.
Great.
Okay. You guys have any ideas to throw out there related to this or otherwise?
Nope.
Nope.
Specifically, I guess, like Truman, because you're now in college, what sort of things would you want to do, either solo or not solo, or with us or whatever, because I don't know, like maybe you have some cool projects or whatever you want to upload to the channel or something like that, more solo content.
Yeah, I'll be making a bunch of different things, and if we want to, we can just use, like, we can make like a Guy Excellent Vivo and just have like a bunch of different wacky ass music videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. One idea I had for you, so I don't know if you're partial to it or not, but
Yeah.
I thought maybe it would be cool to, like, as an extra thing, if you had time and you wanted to, rescore like a movie scene or whatever, like something we really like, and just take the scene, rip the audio from it, and make new score from it. I feel like that'd be kind of cool content. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Because I would love to hear your interpretations of certain scenes. I just think that would be a cool thing.
Yeah, if I'm totally down. I just gotta figure out if I can.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's
who knows. Who knows how it'll go? But yeah, I'm down. I'm totally down.
Great. You guys have any other ideas? Because I got more notes. If we don't,
Let's hear from you. I want to hear more of your notes.
Yeah.
okay. So basically, my other note, it's pretty simple. Basically, when I made the trailer video, for season 4 or 5, fucking whatever we're on, forever ago, I basically just made. Is it 3?
Yeah,
Three?
it's 3. Really 2.5.
Mine's probably 12.
Yeah, let's be honest here.
Yeah. But basically, I kind of bullshit some things we like to do into the subtitles, just as a like, hey, here's some content you may or may not see. So just going down that list, I put commentary, podcasts. Hey, we're already, look at us.
Damn.
Cosplay, Warhammer, D&D, reviews,
I don't know about
short
that
films, and music videos. Like, I feel like we've talked about doing commentaries for a while now for shows or whatever, or even playing a game or whatever. We talked about cosplay once. We didn't really make any videos around it. Warhammer, I want to finish painting my dudes, and I'm going to make a video out of that. And then D&D, part of my thought process behind getting into Cyberpunk Red was the potential to transfer it into podcast form and start filming it as a podcast. And I wanted to do the one shot so we could learn it. My camera just turned off. Give me a second. Wanted to do the one shot to learn it, but then we could transfer it over into podcast form by doing a time jump or whatever, and treat that as like our backstories. Whatever works. But also, if you have any ideas for new campaigns that we would want to do, or more, if you would want to DM or whatever, no reason we can't do it on here. And then reviews is easy. That's an easy solo one, I feel like. If any of you guys watch something and you really want to talk about it, then we can just talk about it. Or you can film yourself talking about it and I'll edit it, that sort of thing. Also a thought that I wanted to pass off that I talked to Aiden a little bit about. If there's any idea for a video that you have that you want to film, but you don't want to edit it, I will edit it, right? So if you literally just sit in front of the camera and you talk about Attack on Titan for 15 minutes, I'll make that into a video. I think that would be cool, and that would give us an excuse to make some cool content, And then short films is obvious, and music videos is obvious. Another one of those we have on the back. But, I figure all of those things are worthy enough for content.
No, I really like the solo idea of us doing some videos by ourselves where we either, like, recently, I think Max actually gave a perfect example of, like, I've seen most to almost caught up with Attack on Titan, and he's seen 9 episodes now, I think is what you said. And so, like, if we have something that, like, Max and I like, or that, like, Truman and Aiden like, but then the other two maybe don't really fit in, we can make that video of just those two people talking about it. I think that's a great idea.
And I do like
down to edit that. Sorry,
and I like the idea of even just in the same vein as that, just like solo stuff, and literally just like, oh, I want to talk about this, and just picking up a camera and then either editing it yourself or sending it to Max, whatever's easiest. Just because I think that would be the easiest kind of where everyone is right now, and since we're all kind of separated, and that's a nice way to just keep pushing out content, which would be nice.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I would be happy to receive footage from you guys and edit it. That would be epic as fuck.
I also like the idea. I actually was thinking about this, like doing like a recorded D&D campaign type thing, and I think maybe to start at least, maybe doing like one shot type of things, type of stories. I mean, and then eventually we can expand that if, depending on how good. I think it will just be different once you have a camera and you're trying to, like when you're just playing D&D, it is a lot of just like kind of goofing around, and there is a certain extent of like trying to create a narrative, but I think for like the one shots or when we're actually filming it, I would like to like try to create a story with it, and then maybe even like adding in like concept art of certain characters or like just little snippets like that, which could be cool, and maybe Truman does like a score for each one shot or something, but that was just an idea.
Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, and I that's part of why I wanted to do, like I said, why I wanted to do Cyberpunk Red in the first place. But yeah, I also think that doing one shots would be a good way almost to just kind of play test it. Like if one of us has an idea for something, and we should just try it and film it and edit it and add score and see if it's cool. And I think the score could be big. I think that would add like a huge layer of coolness to it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's something that we know Truman specifically wrote. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about like I've probably talked to a couple of you about it. I think like originally my idea was it would be really sick to have at least for me a kind of a D&D that's based on just like you being hobbits and just having like regular lives for a while, and then you kind of like get into a more adventuring lifestyle. And I was thinking I like that idea, but I think it would be cooler if we did more of like a classic D&D style where you can all be like halflings and live in like a village together, but it's more like a world that we build, and then maybe we have like really simple characters, just like we have really simple backgrounds we all know about each other, and then we can kind of like let's say we build this world, and like I DM a session where it's you three and you go off and you gotta find the missing trowel or whatever it is, and then maybe like next time Aiden DMs, and then he kind of does something, and then instead of Aiden playing, like my character shows up, and it's just as if like, oh, Aiden's character was busy farming that day, it's just like it's something that's like that idea.
I like that a lot. That brings up another point I wanted to talk about. I would really, especially with the D&D stuff, I think it would be really cool to just get like little guest stars, especially if we're already doing it virtually. Just people, especially people. I think the most fun is people who don't really play D&D, haven't been exposed to that. So and we know enough people, and it's like, hey, you want to come and just play a session with us, and just to see like, I don't know. I think that adds. Truman showed me there's this video of like a bunch of the cast of Stranger Things, like doing a D&D session, and it's like the funniest thing in the world, especially because like Finn Wolfhard doesn't know what he's doing, and it's great. So I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, once I get settled and everything kind of like starts to get into a rhythm, I'm down to just like have a day that we set aside to just have like a call and play a little bit. And it doesn't even have to be that long. It could be like 45-minute like sessions.
Right.
Be like big sessions like that.
Yeah, and then we could potentially even edit those into smaller videos if we want to do them in full podcast.
And then I was thinking like, Aiden, you were talking about like doing a score for it and kind of making like more cinematic kind of deals. Like imagine if we had this little kind of D&D sesh going on, but then you animated scenes.
That'd be sick.
And then I scored scenes, and then we kind of just like all made a little like animation that was like maybe like 5 minutes of like a cool something that happened,
Yeah,
Right.
we could also do like a live action type of thing, right? Like
That's also
obviously
true.
we're dorky, but if we did like voiceover and we had to line our lines up or whatever, and we just dressed up in dumb costumes, that would be fun. That would be a
That would
great,
be
great.
epic.
Be a
Yeah,
blast.
I think like doing both and like just in those D&D sessions, like literally just trying anything would be like super cool. Like doing one animation, doing one live action, doing I don't know, doing kind of maybe like a claymation one or something like
a
that,
comic.
or a comic. That would be so sick, and I think people would like
That's
that.
huge.
Yeah.
Sweet, I like that a
I
lot.
like that idea.
Are you writing down these ideas, Max?
Yes.
You're doing that. Thank you. Great.
Great.
I also.
So,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead,
You go.
kid. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I also kind of want to start preparing for content to make like over the summer. Whether that be like short film type thing, and maybe like bigger projects, because like this summer will be like that's kind of will be like the time that we're all together, and it'll be for a while. So I would really like to do just a bunch of cool stuff then, like yeah, whether it be a short film or something else. And I was thinking if we go like, I mean, I don't know how plausible this is, but if we go like the route of making it a little bit bigger and like investing into it a little more, if we have a script we really like or something like that. I know like this guy I follow on Instagram, GJFK Central, he's making like
Shout out.
literally, yeah, shout out. He's making a Spider-Man film called Spider-Man Lotus, and he's like he literally is just like set up I don't know if it's GoFundMe or like I don't know some funding thing where he's like literally anything you guys send us we'll just put to this film. So if we develop a script or something, maybe like a Star Wars fan film, maybe just an individual, just anything like that. Maybe somehow adapting our D&D Star Wars, like it could be anything.
I really like that idea.
But if and we set up like a GoFundMe, and it's like just send if you want to send us something, great. If we get $10, we'll use that. If we get $50, we'll use that. If we get however much, we'll use it. But just giving people the opportunity to be like, oh, like I wouldn't mind just giving them $5 to see what they make. I think that could be really sick.
Yeah, I like that. And I had a thought in the similar vein, just about like if we do big projects and we want funding, I think it would be smart to offer incentives to give like it, because I remember I pledged like $15 to a film that I don't think he ever made, because I think there's some story behind it. But Tyler Borkowski was making a film, and I pledged like $15 to it, and it was there was something about like, oh, you pledged this certain amount of money and you will get to come see us do the first screening. Like we'll let you know when we're doing that, and we'll do that. And so I like ideas like that, or like if we want to take ideas or whatever, right? If someone's like, dang, I would love if you did this sort of thing, right? Then they pay a certain amount of money and we'll consider that idea. That's
right. And that's another thing with like the Spider-Man Lotus, the fan film. So his are like, so I did like the $5 one because that's all the money I had. But you get like your name in the credit, which is sick. Like
that's smart.
And then like, and it goes up to literally like $40. You get a personalized video. Like $60 you get a signed poster. $150 you get like a bundle. So we can set up like stuff like that would give them incentive, like, oh, we'll make a video for like a little guy excellent shout out, or like you will get your name in the credits of whatever we make as like a co-producer, which would be sick.
I think the main difference though is we have a YouTube channel with about 230 subscribers, and we get like 5 views per video, and they watch for like.
You froze.
Oh, I froze too.
Damn.
Welcome
to the Truman, Aiden, and Emerson podcast.
Max looks like Bill Burr telling a joke right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my camera's going like 3 frames per second.
That's all you need. All right, I think that's a good sign to say that we should
move on
to start talking about stuff.
What happened?
Tell him to come upstairs.
I bet he's still. I guarantee you, he's still talking right now. He's like, hasn't realized.
Definitely. Definitely.
Well,
Well.
If he comes up, I'll let you know.
Oh, well, there he goes. Oh, he'll come back. Well, how you been?
Pretty
I'm good.
good.
You see?
Oh,
Whoops.
your phone died.
My phone died.
That's why.
Hi, I'm back.
ding! That's epic.
All right.
Did you guys?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'll be right
Okay.
back, podcast.
Great. All right. Let me think. What's something that we've watched recently, or something that has, I don't know,
I've watched
that's not something important.
recently. I watched Queen's Gambit, and I started watching this show called I think it's called Servant or The Servant or something like that. Pretty good.
Okay.
I really liked Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, I still gotta finish it.
Yeah, it's. Pretty
I
good.
like it, but I also started
it's
watching
really
Cobra Kai. I told you about that.
What'd you say, Emerson?
I said I like Queen's Gambit. It's pretty cool, but I'm
I really
also in the
liked
same
it.
boat of like I've started it, and then I like watched it a lot for one day, and then I just stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it works best. I literally just watched it all the way through, and I think that might be how, just as like it's like a really long movie and taking it like that. That's how I think it worked best. But I really liked it. I thought it was interesting, and yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. What else?
I don't know. I don't know. There he is.
I could talk about Civ 5.
Oh,
Oh, whoa.
Do you like it? Do you like Civ 5?
I've played. I got this game here. I can look at it right now.
we're back.
Emerson, you're gone. Why? Why does this happen? Oh, he broke his mic. That's what always happens. He always breaks his mic.
Motherfucker.
No, it's back. It's
Okay.
back.
It's because I opened Steam. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. Fucking
No, I
Steam.
got that game 2 days ago, and I already have 9 hours in it. I think
Dang, son.
That's
it's
pretty good.
Damn.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta get it on my new Mac so we can play. But
You should.
anyways, let's
What are we
start talking
talking
about
You can
stuff.
get-
Let's start talking about
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. I assume you're gonna cut like most of that.
Yeah.
I
that.
do think you should leave in.
Do that. Don't do that. That's bad news, man. I'll be so sad. I'll be sad.
What if we just bleep like who it is, so Aiden's just being beat
It's
by
just
someone?
That actually would be pretty.
All right, great.
Okay. What do we want to talk about first?
I say we
haven't-
talk about Cyberpunk first.
Okay,
I like
Because
Cyberpunk.
that's the
gonna be
thing
you and Max.
that we have less opinions about. So we'll get it out
Yeah.
of the way.
Yeah, and I figured it would be smart. Let's not do spoilers altogether because Emerson hasn't played and Aiden hasn't played.
Okay.
But I think it's smart that we have someone who's finished the game, who hasn't finished the game, who's like halfway through it, and then one person who's maybe kept up with it a little more, and then one person who just hasn't played any at all.
All right. And then we're gonna go for like 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
great. So do you want to start people who haven't played? I'm just like, what are you gonna have? What's
I
your
don't have
opinion
anything
on-
to say.
Yeah,
You
great.
guys talk. I know. Yeah, you guys just talk and we'll pitch in if we have anything, but I doubt I'll have
I mean,
anything.
I
So
can,
Great.
I'll put in my very short 2 cents first of the 2 hours I've played of the game. Long story short, my computer has broken after playing the game, and I still haven't fixed it, so
Whoops.
I can't play it right now. But the 2 hours I did play, I really liked. I don't know. For me, it's just goddamn. Sorry, Yoda. Why does it look like he's wearing glasses? Like,
I don't know.
Does anyone else like? He looks like he's wearing this square.
I left for 5 seconds. What is it?
Get that
Okay.
shit out of here.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I liked the first 2 hours a lot, but the more time has gone on, the less I've actually wanted to play the game. I was thinking about it in the way of like when Breath of the Wild came out and when Fallen Order came out. That's all I thought about for like 5 days. Like every second I was doing something, I wanted to keep playing that game. Was Breath or Fallen Order. And this, I just am like, it's cool, and I'll play it when I play it, but I'm not dying to after seeing a lot of the discussion about it and knowing more about what the actual content in it is. But I do think I do think it is like a cool and a good game, and I'm excited to play it when I do, but I'm not like dying to play it.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think that the sort of the hype level really fucked it over. And Charlie, Penguin Zero on YouTube, Moist Critical on Twitch, shout out. He I didn't watch much of his video because I was afraid he was going to talk shit about it, and I didn't want him to soil my opinion of it. But he opens the video by saying like, "There's no chance this game was ever going to live up to the hype," and I kind of agree. You know, people were really, really on top of what this game was going to be. So like, yeah, I feel like it makes sense that you're not as into it as you were. But yeah, I had a thought about it that I wrote down, and it's that like there's kind of 3 layers to the thought process that I have behind this game and how I feel about it. The first and most prevalent and obvious layer is like the glitches, right? And that's what everyone's talking about. It's how goddamn buggy the game is, and it does get pretty ridiculous. Jeremy Johns talked about the fact that glitches in any game, they create like a distrust between the player and the game, and that's the biggest thing. Is like, it doesn't bother me that much that there are glitches. It's just the issue that is like when I'm doing things, there's always a layer of me going, "Is that supposed to happen?" Even subconsciously, there's always like, and that makes the experience just inherently less fun, you know. But yeah, I feel like that it is really buggy, and that sucks. But the second layer for me under that is what is as it is and how much fun I'm having with it, and it's good. It's good. I don't think it's on par with Witcher 3, but it's a great story. It has great characters. It has cool gameplay. There's a lot to it. I think that the game in its current form, assuming that at some point it will not have bugs, it's a good game. But it's not perfect, but it's good. And that sort of leads to my third layer of thought process behind it, and that is the cut content, which now has been revealed to not be cut content. Basically, in 2018, there was an E3 gameplay demo, and it had a lot of stuff in it, and it made it really feel like the game was more, as Truman and I have talked about, more Skyrim than Witcher, and that there's a lot of freedom, and you can do and be whatever you want. But playing the game, you learn that it's a lot more linear than that. And you can't buy new apartments. You can't change your backstory aside from the 3 choices that you get. And it doesn't have that much gameplay effect anyways. And there's not really branching narratives. There are choices that make differences, and I think that there are multiple different endings. But there's not like the game doesn't become entirely different because you chose to go do the Thieves Guild quest line. You know, it doesn't do that like I was hoping it would do. And the way that they kind of advertised it in 2018 is that you could do and be anything and fulfill a role play. Come to find out, I think it was like literally today that said not only is the 2018 demo is completely fake. They built that demo just for the sake of the public. None of those features were ever in the game. They had a lot of features that were cut, but all the stuff with like surprise carjackings, the backstory stuff, it was all built like a year for this specific demo, and that set back everything because they took so much time to work on this demo. But it also meant that none of it ended up in the game, and there's not really any hope that it will end up in the game because it just was never there in the first place. You know, it was built specifically for the demo. which sucks because I was kind of rooting for the fact that maybe this is going to have a big No Man's Sky type re-release, and we were going to see, a year from now, they're like, okay, you remember the game we pitched to you in 2018? Well, here it is. We got Cyberpunk 2077. We got Cyberpunk 2078. We got the next generation, the next year. It's great. It's awesome. It has everything you want. But it's looking like they're going to repair their bugs, and we're going to get the game as it is, and people are going to like it, but it's never going to be what everyone hoped for. That it looked so amazing, and it didn't hit that stride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't played all that much. Like I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat as Emerson, but I don't know what his reason is for like why he lost kind of traction, but for me it's like I really only get into games for like two reasons. I'll get into a game if like it's addictive, like if it's actually like the process of the game is like addictive, like Apex. Like I started playing Apex and it's like you can't stop because like you're always chasing the next Apex crate, dude. The next victory. It's vanity, like, and you can't stop. So but for a game like Cyberpunk, I played I wanted it to be a role playing game, and it's not really a role playing game. No. Like it's more of just It's more of just like a Witcher.
It is a lot closer to like to almost Fallen Order, I guess, from what I've seen. It's a lot closer to that than it is to Skyrim.
Yeah, and even like Fallen Order was cool because they set it up as you play as Cal Kestis. Like that's who you are and that's who you are going to be. And you can play him how you want, but like he is Cal Kestis and it's not you. The problem with Cyberpunk is they set it up that it was like, yeah, you're V, but you can have all these backgrounds. You're going to have all this play style. You can play however you want. You can do purely melee. You can do like stealth. You can do anything. And so when you set a game up like that, I'm thinking, sweet, you're going to have a bunch of variety and I can play this however I like. And the problem was I would play and for a bit I was like, oh, I had this momentum of like, okay, I want to go get this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But I would do it and then I'd be like, okay, and then I'd have it, It was kind of it was kind of like, honestly, it was kind of like Animal Crossing for me. Like I had Animal Crossing, loved it. Like that was one of those games that was like, you couldn't put it down. You played it, you had to get this, but then at some point, I remember I was just like, I don't really want to play it one day, and then I never played it ever again. My poor villagers are so sad because I literally just was like, one day I was like, I'm just gonna like, I'll play tomorrow. Never played it ever again.
Yeah, it was the same thing. Like, it was the same thing with Squadrons, honestly. Of like,
oh yeah, Squadrons was worse.
Yeah, we played that
so
for
much hope.
Like a week, and then we're like, then I just
I got everything I wanted, and I was like, okay, cool, and then it was just kind of like a fun.
Yeah. Has that update come out though? There's like B-Wings and shit now?
Yeah. I haven't played it yet though. The problem is you have that PS Plus, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pay money to just play with nobody. Not that I have my PS4 or anything. But anyways, it's been 10 minutes, so next thing.
Oops. What's your rating out of 10 to wrap things up, Truman?
So far?
Yeah.
6.9.
Classic.
That's not terrible. I expected you to go 6, so 0.9 is a worthy addition. I'd say for me, it's like I'm gonna go higher than that. I think it's like I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but not the entire benefit of the doubt, and give it a 7.5. Just because I think what is there is very good and very fun, and I am not as tied to certain kind of gaming ideals as I think you are, Truman, and tied to the idea that like Skyrim is the best game of all time, which I will not dispute. It is a very fucking good game, but yeah, I don't know. I would say I would have been okay with it being more Witcher 3, and it is a little more Witcher 3. It's just also a lot of other things that are not very good. So yeah, 7.5. Emerson, the
it's
little
not
bit that you played.
it's not fair for me to rate it, but if
Yeah.
I did have to rate it, I would probably go in the middle of you two and say like a 7.1, 7.2.
Okay.
That checks out.
It's a quality game, but like Critical said, and like a lot of people have said, of like the fans just hyped it up too much and they didn't advertise it for what it was, and so it's just like if
Guilty as charged.
yeah. So it's just like it's not the 10 out of 10. Like the last thing I wanted to say of when we were playing Red, because we played, or at least I had looked at the book and I was able to like figure it out before the game had. I think that was before the game had come out. But I remember thinking like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Like I can't wait to pick like, oh, I'm gonna be a street rat, or what's the background?
No, it's not Street Rat. That's the
Street Kid.
well, there's
No,
Tech,
no.
Med Tech, Rocker Boy. You talking about Roll?
No. There was something rat. It's like literally your family background, I think is what it's called.
I can't remember. I think I know what you're talking about
Okay.
though, but
But like I was just excited to be like, oh, I'm gonna choose my background. I'm gonna choose my family. I'm gonna choose, like, the coolest part about Red was saying, okay, do I have any mortal enemies, or do I have any like ride or die friends? Like I wanted to do that.
Yeah,
I wanted to be like, hey, I wanted to convince somebody, hey, you want to be like my ride or die? You'll like we'll go to the ends of the earth together. Or I wanted to make somebody my mortal enemy, but it's just, you can't do that.
So, moral of the review: if
Dark.
you're disappointed by Cyberpunk 2077, go play D&D. You will
Yeah.
be infinitely satisfied.
Play Red. It's a lot of fun.
Truth.
Red is good. Red is a good
lot
one.
of fun.
All right, we want to move on.
All right, we got to
Yeah.
move on. We got to
Next
move on.
topic.
All right, something that Aiden can talk about now. Yay.
I was thinking we could talk
WandaVision.
about Spider-Man. Oh yeah,
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah. All right, Aiden, give us the lowdown, pal.
Yeah, so the first 2 episodes of WandaVision came out. I like them. They were interesting, and I like that they're so far it's not been like a typical Marvel thing. Marvel definitely falls under the category of like they know what they're good at, and then they fall into like so many of their movies have been kind of like very formulaic of like, okay, this works, let's do that, and they do that great, but they haven't taken a lot of risks besides that. I would say like Endgame took some risks, but it was definitely more like fan servicey, and that's why it worked, which is fine. It was great.
Infinity War was the one that took risks, really.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Infinity War was the one that took risks.
Agreed. But definitely WandaVision, they do some really cool stuff, and I like that like stylistically it's interesting and it's engaging. Again, it's different. We don't really know what's happening. Which I like, and you definitely, but that's it, and it's nice, like the little subtle stuff of like, revealing what's happening. But yeah, that's all I got for right now.
You know, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead.
I agree with you a lot, and like the one thing I haven't finished. I'm almost done with the first episode, and obviously I haven't even started the second episode. But the one
There's
thing
not a lot for us to spoil,
Yeah.
so don't be worried.
And I'm not even going to talk about the plot or anything, but the one thing that really stuck out to me of like I really like this, and it's just a fact of it's cool to see Marvel in a TV show, because one of the problems, and it's not even really a problem, but one thing that they consistently have done with the movies is it always has to have like a really fast pace. And I like that they've slowed down the pacing of this more. And like Aiden said, like we don't really know what the show's about yet, but it's just like a good like setup, slow, take it easy, and not take it easy, but like it's a good, just purely good setup so far of what I've watched. And I like that. I like that slow pace.
Right, and honestly, for like Marvel and something that's inspired by like comic books, for me at least, like television and like television makes sense for like comic book stories, especially something like this where it's like a lot of comic book stories are like they're like 15 20ish issues of like one long story, and then you get like, you know, there's something they're kind of episodic, but besides that, it's definitely like they have this overlaying. It's like a slow burn for what the actual climax is. So I think it works as a TV show, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. I think that so far this is another one of those things which is I think that Infinity War and Endgame both kind of did the same thing of like if you are not in it with the MCU and you have not watched at least a majority of the movies and love these characters and are interested in the stories, you're not gonna really understand the emotional significance of Infinity War and Endgame. Part of the reason those are so good is because they are the biggest Big Mac industry possible consolidated into let's kill them all and then let's save them all. Spoilers for Infinity War and Endgame, the movies that came out years ago. um, but I think that it's nice at this point that they have the opportunity to lean some weirder stuff, right? Because it's like if you watch WandaVision and you don't know who Wanda or Vision are, even if you do know who Wanda or Vision are, but you don't have like a sense of the scope of where the MCU is right now, you're not gonna be on board with what's happening. You kind of have to like what's going on because it really does just give us like subtle hints in these first two episodes, just moments of like, oh, the outside world encroaching, what the fuck's going on, what's happening here. We just have no clue, right? And I love that. I like that. I feel proud watching it because I'm like, this is cool because I already care about these characters, which is kind of weird, but I'm really liking it for that reason. In that you kind of have to be a fan to be on board.
Yeah, I really like it because I've been recently just like obsessed with kind of I think the best part of stories are um at least like a classical kind of hero's journey story is the beginning
Yeah.
of like showing somebody's normal life and just letting it play out as if nothing's happening and then returning
Yeah.
to that at the end and having them kind of like reflect on everything they've done but still have their normal life. And I think WandaVision for me, just in the way that I kind of perceive it, because like what you were talking about, Max, of you have all of this time with these characters, and then all of a sudden you have this show that's super simple and just like a really classic kind of like
Sitcom.
sitcom-y, it just like love
Yeah.
comedy story, and that's like for me that feels like the end of kind of uh it feels like the end of their story. Obviously it's not, but it feels like, oh,
Right.
we've been on so many adventures with these people, and it feels so satisfying that like, oh, they're home, and I'm excited for
Yeah.
them to kind of just like slowly get into some wacky territory. But
Mhm.
I'm really enjoying it, and especially like that first episode. I think the writing on the first episode, the writing and the cinematography are like, it's like uncanny. Like it is
It's
so
great.
it's
Yeah.
so good. Like it's so period. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And like I think the second episode struggles a little bit more cinematography wise and like shots. There's a couple shots that I'm like,
Mm.
that's too modern. Like it felt like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. For sure.
sometimes you really you look at it and you'll go like, they just put black and white over this and pretending that it
Yeah.
was fine. But the first
Yeah.
episode is like, it's so good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I really
if you
like
haven't
it.
watched it, totally recommend it to even people who don't even like Marvel. But it
Yeah.
just seems like a cool idea for a show for sure.
Yeah. But also to that, I think there's certain parts where they intentionally do that, and they sort of, and without spoiling it too much for Emerson and for our viewers, there are moments where like some freaky shit starts happening, and so the camera goes Dutch, or
Yep.
we break the 180 rule or whatever, right? And it starts to become like, oh, it begins to feel like modern TV because of these small editing choices
Oh
that they
yeah.
do. Like the idea that it's a TV audience. You're never going to see one side of the set, but then
Right.
every once in a while during those weird moments, it kind of cuts over,
Yep.
and you begin
Yep.
to see, you're like, oh fuck, this is weird. It's giving a, and I really like that, and I like how subtle it is, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of moments like that are more nuanced. That like you kind of have to sit there and think, oh yeah, they definitely intentionally meant for like this part where they're listening to the radio to be like kind of fucking weird. Like there's something to this. There's a
Yeah.
lot of cool moments like that super work, and I think part of the reason why the 2nd episode is different is because it does kind of take a leap forward in time, you can kind of tell that it's supposed to jump forward in like its era, and I think it's going to keep doing that. And I hope that the way that they film it stylistically follows through with that, because I think that's fun. That's cool.
Yeah, and I really you kind of touched on this, but I really like how subtle it is, and like
yeah.
I won't get into unless you want to take off your headphones, Emerson, for like 2 minutes.
Just go quick.
So I really like all like the subtle stuff. So the first thing I noticed is like when it has like the Stark toaster, that's like the first time you see the color is the red blinking light, and then it has the Hydra watch, which has the name of the guy who experimented on her in Age of Ultron.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then
it's big.
So and then this is just kind of a subtle detail that I saw. I saw it in a video that I watched called from New Rock Stars, their YouTube channel. But in the second episode on the opening, and when it kind of goes through the house, it gets a cross section of the house, and you can see in the floorboards there's like a bunch of skeletons, and then there's a helmet from one of Vision's villains.
Wow.
But
interesting.
yeah,
like
and
that.
then
completely missed that.
And then this is kind of a widespread theory. It's not my own, but I would just like to touch on it. So the friend that Wanda has at the house, her name is Agnes. And so what people are kind of speculating is that in the comics, Wanda has this kind of like mentor figure called Agatha Harkness. So they're thinking Agatha. But so there are some things that point towards it. So the first thing is, but no, there is some validity to it. So the first thing is that she in the comics she's always wearing this like brooch. In the show, the Agatha is always kind of Agnes, not Agatha. Agnes is always wearing the brooch. And then in that the cartoon opening, there's like it says like Aunt Agnes's cat food or something along the lines of that. I don't remember. But and it has like a cat, and like another thing, like another one of her motifs is that she has a cat. But
okay.
So the big thing is that she's also kind of like she basically works for Marvel Comics' version of Satan, which is Mephisto, and so in the comics she's like kind of a mentor to Wanda, but then she turns against her, and there's this line, and it might just be a throwaway line. I noticed it when I first saw it. It might be a throwaway line. It might go deeper, but there's a part where she goes, the main head of when all the ladies meet together for the planning committee, the main blonde lady, she goes like, she says something like, the devil is in the details, and then Agnes like turns to Wanda and she goes, "That's not the only place he is," which could be like,
yeah.
So who knows? Maybe Satan shows up, Mephisto. But that's all I have to say of just some little things.
Okay. Emerson, come back. You're good now. Come back.
I can't believe you spoiled it all for me, Ethan.
Yes. I think it's okay.
Right. It's been 10 minutes.
Okay, next.
Yeah. We want to talk about it. I have more ideas.
What else
What?
do you have to talk about?
If you got anything else, shoot it.
We can talk about. We haven't really talked about Mandalorian season 2. And we can also talk about Spider-Man 3. That some shit's going on with that. That one.
I'll say I gotta stop at 11:30. How about that?
What time is it there right now?
It's 11:16.
Oh,
Okay, great.
Oh yeah,
That's
sorry.
what I said. I needed to
Let's
start
do
to.
Spider-Man really fast because there's not a lot to talk
Yeah,
about
let's
there.
just do Spider-Man.
So,
So,
cover what you know.
so in the past couple of days, there's been footage, or like set photos. There actually has been some footage from the movie, and kind of revealing some stuff. So we see like Peter Parker's back, and the weird thing for me about that is like there's a video, and Peter's just like kind of walking out in the open, which is like everyone thinks you're a murderer. So I'm wondering, maybe it's resolved by then. Who knows? There's all these like posters there, kind of on like a billboard. There's all these posters of it says like citizens root for Spider-Man or something like that, or like, and then there's a picture of Mysterio and it's like we believe or something, you know, kind of like the city's taking sides, which is really interesting. We see that it's taking place during Christmas, which will be like the first. That's actually not true. Amazing Spider-Man takes place during the Amazing Spider-Man 2 takes place during no, it doesn't. Anyways, I think this is the first live action Christmas Spider-Man movie, which will be cool. And it's kind of weird. Sony always has this kind of issue of, especially with Spider-Man, of just kind of letting tons of like set photos get out, and it's never really anything important, but just a little bit more than other movies. Spider-Man always I kind of noticed that, like when Homecoming was coming out, there's a whole video of that scene where he changes into his suit in the alley. There was literally like a whole video of that just released of some guy from their balcony just recording it on their phone, which I think is funny and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we don't really know what's going on. We don't know if it's going to be maybe multiverse, Spider-Verse with maybe Toby and Andrew come back. Nothing's really been confirmed. There's been a lot of things with Sony's like Latin Twitter accounts, and that's like the big thing with like literally on like the Sony Latin Twitter account. They're like, this December we're going to be releasing the Spider-Man trailer, and it's an official Spider-Man or official Sony account.
Yeah,
that never happened, and kind of all this stuff. So we don't really know what's going on, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned, just as like a weird thing, is some of the photos that we saw kind of seemed like Peter looked a little older. You know, some about his hair and what he was wearing, whatever. This is me really digging for the details of these like 9 photos that we see on set. But I get the feeling that that like I have always really loved your theory, Aiden, or the theory you introduced to us, I guess, of like them doing high school trilogy, college trilogy, and adult trilogy, right? But in general, I like the idea of them maybe transitioning him into an older, more mature Spider-Man for us to see him go through different iterations and different ideas, because I think it would get really old. It honestly kind of already got old by the second movie that he's such a 12-year-old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that they tonally, they're able to tonally both bring things back to what made Homecoming so good, but still give us an effective like growth of his character and to see more without it being kind of a cheesy mess that the second movie is. As much as I still really like and defend the second movie, it just does not even remotely match the magic that Homecoming made, you know? Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I just want to say something real fast. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like a lot of people, when they think about Spider-Man, they identify him as like a high school character, and he is. And there's like Ultimate Spider-Man, that's all high school. He dies when he's 17, and you know he starts out in high school. But I think, my bad. I think a lot in the original 616 universe, he gets into like they jump into like the college story pretty quickly. Like he's in college pretty fast after he gets bitten. Like there's quite a few issues of him still in high school, but it's not like this super prolonged amount of time that he's in high school. And I think my personal favorite Spider-Man stories are the college ones or like the adult ones. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like, and it's nice to have like, oh, he's in high school here, he's in college here, he's an adult now, and see that growth. But I think like college Spider-Man is some of my favorite stuff because it's he's you still kind of get like this kid. He's still kind of a kid, but he's more mature, and you can tell more mature stories, which is nice. And that's part of the reason why I really like Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. He's in college there, and that movie muy bueno. Okay, Truman.
Well, I don't know much. Like, I'm not actively on the pulse of the Spider-Man fandom, but the things that Aiden has shown me and the things that I've seen, the first thing that I think of and thought of was what is going on with the security for this movie and for all the Spider-Man movies? Like, it's insane. I'm like, it's so funny. Like, it's almost as if they're okay with it. Like, and they might be,
Right.
you know, it just seems like, yeah, he sent me a video of just a guy filming like sets and props, like on the street, like filming it. And I'm like, what's
Yeah,
going
and people
on,
walked
man?
by too. People definitely saw that dude in his car with the camera. It's like,
Yeah.
if I were on a set, I don't care if I'm like a lowly grip. I'm gonna go up to that guy and I'm gonna say, "You understand this is like top secret operation,
Yeah,
right?
like scram, bro.
The camera away. Stop."
Yeah, and I think Max was talking about how it was a video of, and I don't know if this is spoiler warning, but it was just like a poster like wall with a bunch of posters on it, and there was like stuff like Aiden was talking about, like Free Spider-Man and stuff like that. But there was also, first of all, it was like retro vibes, like kind of old timey, like it was weird, and I can't tell if it was just like some kind of production design that they were going for, but it would also had like one about like the moon. You can't read it exactly, but it was like the moon and like a rocket ship going to the moon. And it seems like retro, like it could be like a late 60s, early
Tiny
70s
white
vibe.
shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, maybe, you know, that totally,
If we're hitting
that possibly could
multiverse, we
happen.
can absolutely be hitting tiny-verse.
Yeah, that would be
Right.
really cool. The only problem is, why would the same stickers and posters about freeing Spider-Man be in the late 60s? You know, it's
Right.
just like,
about the
it's gotta
different
be-
Spider-Man.
I don't know, but who knows? All I know is that like, I'm excited for the trailer, and Aiden texted me today, and he hyped me up really. He hyped me up a lot. He said, because Aiden's planning on going to college out on the East Coast, where I am. He was talking about if the movie does come out while we're in school together, we'll take a bus or train to New York and watch the movie in New York, and so he can wear his Spider-Man suit and go to the movies. And I'm like, I'll be down, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be there.